Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready for playoff race number 7 here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League as we head into the beautiful Auto Club Speedway for another night of amazing racing action. Mrs. Holler coming into the chat says 23, have a great race, Mr. Holler, as well, with thumbs up here on the stream as Mr. Kevin Holler, his father's birthday is tonight, so shout out there to Mr. Holler. Haller coming in and celebrating his birthday here this evening with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, and I'm sure he's going to take joy and pride in watching Mr. Haller trying to, Mr. Kevin Haller trying to pick up a win here this evening. Shout out there to Haller, though, Mr. Haller, the old man, coming in with his birthday here this evening. A solid, we'll call it 42 years young, something like that, somewhere around there. We'll call it that. As Mrs. Haller says, "Peacemaker, yay, yay, yes, ma'am, yay and yay." You know it, Mrs. Haller coming in showing the love here in this one. Is qualifying coming to a close, and that means we'll get ready here for our A main feature event. Our A main about to get underway. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys are tuning into the show. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we get ready to set these drivers loose. Is Twan Yalbear coming in as well. Says happy birthday, Haller. Cheering on Haller here this evening as well. Says good evening over there on Twitch. How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Twan Yalbear. Twan Yalbear. 20 Owl Bear. Okay. All right. It's good to see how that's broken up right there. That is definitely a tricky one to say, that is for certain. But I appreciate you coming in, showing the love. 20 Owl Bear here this evening, showing the love over there on Twitch. As 100 laps of racing action here this evening for all these drivers. They get lined up down on pit road, ready to roll back out onto the Speedway. And now for our 7th playoff race of the season. This is the point standings. Right now, Matthew Wood just running away with the points here. He's got a massive points differential between himself and Evan Stewart right now in the rest of our playoff field. 130-point advantage coming into this race. All he needs is another probably solid run here. If he can even, maybe gain a couple points in this race this afternoon, it could set him up for a massive points lead. And going into our final couple races of the season, more than likely is going to lock in as the champion here on the season after potentially tonight, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle. As Bill Fisher says, I need to teach my son how to qualify. Oh, baby, yes, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to tell him, you got to teach him, you got to qualify, man. To start at the front of the field has way more benefits than starting at the back of the pack. As we take a look at the front of the field, as the he gets us. Number 39 ride of Zach Clater. Clater will start in this pole position. Nick Biddy will start there to his outside. Our points leader, the 16 ride of Matthew Wood, will start there in third. To his outside will be that DJC, the cinematography ride there of Mr. Dylan Carrier. Starting in position number 5 in the 34 ride, that is the GOAT Racing diecast machine of Mr. Aiden Lucas. To his outside, the Team Watson setups machine, that is the 7 of Caden Gargiulo. Starting in position number 7 in the 51, it's the HendrickCars.com ride of Wyatt Mickelson. To his outside in the Sim Racing Center, number 74, that is Jaden Porter. Starting in position number 9 in the 42 ride, the National Destination Excellence ride, that is the 42 machine of Nick Jensen. Into his outside will be the Tracker Boats and ATVs, the Bass Pro Shops Club ride, the 14 of Marquin Brewer. Starting in 11th in the Downey Tide, number 57 Camaro, that is Grant Applegate. To his outside will be the 37 ride, the HB Racing. The beautiful looking ride right there is Mr. Evan Stewart. Starting in position number 13 in the 23 machine, that is Ryan Haller. To his outside will be the 3E machine of Ethan Greek. Greek will start there in that, I believe, the 14th position. Starting in the 15th spot will be the number 17 of Jason Bogart. To his outside in the number 6 ride, that will be Joe David. Starting in position number 17 in the 46, that is Mike Corriveau. To his outside in the 06, that is Caleb Sisk. Then we see that 19 ride, that is Jordan Fisher and his Hardy Designs Team Conti Sim Performance, number 19, that is Jordan Fisher starting back there in in the 19th position. To his outside in the 76 will be Zach Perry, and then we see Blair Saunders, Dustin Hardy, Jeff Hurrick, Keegan Huey, Brandon Eddington, and Caleb Holloman in his 1776 Motorsports. The Dr. Pepper ride bringing up the rear of the field as 26 drivers ready to rumble, ready to go to battle here in this one, as Ryan's name is Ryan Haller. People call him Kevin. I get it. That's, yeah, Ryan Haller. Ryan Haller out there as the Hey It's Kev ride is looking to have a big run here in this one. As here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. As here comes that 39 ride down and out of corner number 2. He'll slide in front of Nick Biddy, and Zach Clater down the back straightaway will hold on to the race lead. As James Jones in the chat says, let's go Fish, Hardy, Jeff, and Blair, says I just missed the start. Oh, heartbreaker right there. Heartbreaker, James. We wish you were out there. As look out, the 39 ride loose out of corner number 4, and Zach Glader goes from hero to almost zero on the first lap. That mistake down the front straightaway. Look at all the momentum and look at all the positions that he will lose, as unfortunately the 39 ride goes from leading this race out of corner number 4 to all of a sudden being back in about the 22nd position. That loss of momentum, that little bit of slide, and all of a sudden finds himself towards the rear of the field. Heartbreaker there for that 39 ride, but it does give the race lead to Nick Biddy. Is Biddy out in front, able to lead that first lap, but here comes Dylan Carrier down low looking for the race lead. So Dylan Carrier looking to jump out in front. He wants this top spot. He wants the race lead here this evening, and he will take it away from Nick Biddy. So Carrier now out in front is the Carrier Motorsports and JBDesigns.com ride at the point, but he gets loose, washes up the racetrack. Oh, look out, hang on to it. The 31 gonna go for a slide down the back straightaway. Luckily enough, able to catch it, able to hang on to it. No contact, no damage, able to keep that car rolling, but it slides him from position number 1 now to the back of the pack. So going from hero to zero for that number 31 ride, and it allows Matthew Wood, our points leader, to take over the top spot, as now we see the 17 of Bogart get up and slam against the outside fence. Heavy right side damage now for the 17 ride, as the Turning Point USA machine will look to try to rebound, try to keep that car rolling, and hoping to see this first stage come to a quick close where he can try to get some damage repaired. You'll see the 32 rider Nick Biddy sliding all the way back now into the 10th position. Maybe a little contact there on the right hand side. Looks like he's gotten into the outside fence, and unfortunately for that Nick Biddy Designs ride, now just trying to hang on to a top 10 out there on the speedway is Ryan Haller. Haller rolls right there in position number 9 as you see a couple more cars get into the fence. Jaden Porter slams the outside wall. We saw the 32 get a little bit more of that outside fence. Both drivers will slide back a couple spots, but for the 74 ride, definitely way off the pace, and now he's going to get into the wall again. Oh man, heavy right front damage here for that 74 ride. Now he's going to get into it even more. Big hit there for the 74 as he'll head down into the infield, and unfortunately, you take a look at that right front tire. That thing is not moving. That thing is bruising out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for the 74 ride here this evening, that's going to take him down pit road early on. That is going to hurt his chances here this evening. And Blair Saunders in the 61 ride, the Type Moon ride, the Type Moon machine, unfortunately had to serve a pass-through penalty with a hold. And unfortunately now for Blair Saunders, he finds himself at least 2 laps down out there on the racetrack early on this evening. Now we see another driver run into an issue. That's Nick Jensen down into the infield. What is going on? What is happening here early on in this race? And the 42 ride spins it up onto the racing surface, comes to a stop there, and that will bring the caution flag out. So we do get a yellow flag here as Nick Jensen will bring the first one out, as it looks like he will get loose out of corner number 2 here. This is a common theme so far here this evening. A little chaotic here as he just loses the rear end, goes around, washes down into the infield, trying to keep pointing the right direction. Looked like he was maybe going to catch that car right about there. Even here, could have probably got it back into gear, kept it rolling, but is able to keep his foot in the brake pedal there. Luckily enough, comes to a stop, no additional contact or damage, and that does bring the yellow flag out. So an early caution flag here this evening at Auto Club Speedway, and that really brings in the question mark of, do we see these drivers head down pit road? Do they make a trip down pit side? I think for all the drivers that had major damage, that had major issues, they've got to come down pit side here. And for Jaden Porter, this caution flag may have been a big one for him, as he was down pit road, had gotten service to this race car, had got it fixed up, had to use that quick repair early on this evening. But for the 74, should get the lucky dog, should get the free pass back onto the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. Nick Jensen, the last car on the lead lap, obviously bringing out that caution flag. He'll look to get some repairs for the 31 of Dylan Carrier. No major damage for this car, but the tires could have definitely went away. And then we've seen a lot of drivers get into that outside fence. When you look at the 17 of Bogart, you look at, the number 32 in Nick Biddy. We saw a couple other drivers get up and tag that fence as well. And here we go. We're going to see a good-sized group of them come down pit road. Obviously, a lot of cats looking to get some repairs, looking to try to get their cars fixed up, as you see Aiden Lucas, first driver down pit side. Here comes Nick Biddy. Evan Stewart also down pit road. Zach Glader comes down pit side as well, as after he got into the fence. We saw the 17 of Bogart come down pit side. Dylan Carrier, Nick Jensen, Caleb Sisk, Jeff Hurrick in the 49 ride. He heads down pit road as well, and I do believe Keegan Huey had also come down pit road. Now for Keegan Huey, I'm not sure what's going on with the 38 machine, but it's not even showing him rolling out there on the racetrack. So we'll have to see how this one plays out, as Hardy Design says, thank you, Mr. Bell. Yeah, he's cheering you on. He's definitely cheering you on. He says, nice looking car, Hardy. Yeah, beautiful looking ride out there for a bunch of these Hardy rides. Obviously, the Hardy machine of Dustin Hardy looking very fresh out there on the racetrack, but when you look up closer to the front of the field, navigating his way towards the front, the HB Racing Hardy Designs number 19 of Jordan Fisher. Fisher looking very, very fancy here this evening as well, as he's been navigating his way through the traffic, through the field, and up towards the front here for this 19 ride. He was one of the drivers that came into these playoffs, looked to be kind of one of those cats that probably could have competed for this championship. I think he probably would have gave Matthew Wood a really good run for his money here in the series. Unfortunately for Jordan Fisher, Fisher had missed so many races that he is, I do believe, at the back of the field here for our point standings. He sits in that 12th position now, 311 points away from Matthew Wood. Obviously, there's nowhere in a mathematical standpoint that could even get Fisher back into contention. Maybe be able to join and maybe pick up, if he runs the next couple races as well, maybe picks up a couple wins to end the season, maybe able to leapfrog, maybe pick up the 10th position in the point standings. But even that is going to be a tough time out there on the Speedway for Matthew Wood. He's just sitting pretty here. If he can keep on rolling towards the front, earn some good stage points, have himself a solid day at the Speedway, may be able to lock down this championship here this evening, as the championship going to be coming to a close in a quick hurry for a lot of these drivers, just knowing that there's only, 3 races left here on the season. So 3 races left when we head to Richmond, Las Vegas, and Phoenix to end the season. 3 races left to go. It really starts to bring into that question mark here. What can anyone do? What can anyone even catch Matthew Wood if they win every stage, if they win every race, even for the number 37 of Evan Stewart? That's a very tall task to ask, and obviously would need to have Matthew Wood virtually get 0 points in every single race, or at least the bare minimum, and that still may not be enough. So Matthew Wood may already have it mathematically into the books here as the champion on the season, but I'm sure there's probably a potential that maybe Evan can gain enough, or one of those other drivers may be able to gain enough points to catch up to Matthew Wood. But it's going to be very, very tough to do, especially as the 16 ride continues to lead this race. And Matthew gets a solid restart right there for the 14 ride. Brewer looked like Brewer had to get out of the throttle there. Looked like he may have jumped that restart ever so slightly. Almost beat our race leader back down to the start-finish line right there. Had to roll out of the throttle. I think that kind of got him out of his sequence on where he was going to be able to hit that throttle. And for Marquin Brewer, it slides him back now into the 8th position. So going from 2nd to 8th as everyone down the back straightaway able to do a fantastic job keeping their cars just rolling out there on the speedway. And unfortunately, for the 74 ride of Jaden Porter, Porter did not get the wave around, did not get the lucky dog there during that caution flag, and unfortunately for that 74, still scored as a lap down. He's the first car a lap down out there on the racetrack. I do believe the lucky dog went to the 98 ride of Blair Saunders. Saunders got the lucky dog. He is back to being only 1 lap down, and right now making his way around Jaden Porter. It now moves him into the lucky dog position for the 38 ride of Keegan Huey. Huey, unfortunately, I don't know if he lost connection, something there with the Klein Tools ride. Unfortunately for Keegan, he was down pit road, did lose a couple laps, and for the 38 ride, he does go a couple laps down out there on the racetrack. That's going to be a tough way to try to battle back. As here we go, Matthew Wood, Jordan Fisher, out in front looking to duke it out. This is what we expected to see for a lot of these playoffs, and unfortunately for Fisher, the Fish has not been out there to really challenge and bring the pressure to Matthew Wood in these playoffs. Matthew's had a very good run. He's picked up a bunch of wins, and he'll be looking to try to win another one here this evening and solidify himself as the champion here on the season. But as Fisher back into the battle, back out there on the racetrack, he is looking good. He's looking fierce here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he can take this race lead and if he can keep Matthew Wood back there at bay throughout this feature event. As down across the line, 12 laps completed, 13 laps left to go here in stage number 1. So the completion of lap number 25 will be the end of our first stage of the day. There we will see some points being handed out to our top 5. Those drivers will earn some extra playoff points. They'll also earn potentially an extra bonus points as well for the stage win. So Matthew Wood really looking to use those to his advantage. And you take a look back there behind him, Ryan Haller. Haller's working his way up and through the field. He now finds himself in position number 4 and looking for more. As Mr. Haller here this evening, Ryan's father, it's his birthday here this evening. So a huge shout out there to Ryan Haller's dad. Happy birthday here this evening. Give you another good shout out there, as I know Mrs. Haller in the chat always watching. If the old man's watching, make sure you let him know that here at Peacemaker Gaming we wish him a happy birthday here this evening. As the 23 of Ryan Haller trying to hold on to that 4th position, the 57 of Grant Applegate trying to take it away from him here, as everyone just trying to keep on rolling. We see a lot of drivers though navigating their way to the front. A lot of other drivers that were here at the front have slid backwards. As you look at Zach Perry, Perry's up 15 positions. Jordan Fisher there in 2nd. He's up 17 spots from where he started. Ryan Haller is up 9 spots. Applegate's up 6. Perry there is up 15 positions. Started all the way back in 22nd. Now rolls in 7th. Caleb Sisk down to his inside, looking to pick up another spot himself if he can complete this pass. As of right now, he's in 7th. He's up 13 spots on the racetrack. For Dustin Hardy, Hardy has found himself now up 14 positions. Started all the way back, I do believe, in 23rd. And for Dustin Hardy, now rolls in that 9th position. Joe David up 7. Mike Corvo, he's up 5 spots on the racetrack. You look a little deeper in the field, you see Zach Later down 14. Dylan Carrier, he's down 12 spots from where he started. Nick Biddy now down 15 positions. Aiden Lucas down 14. Nick Jensen down 13 spots. Jaden Porter down 17 positions. So a lot of these drivers that started up towards the front of the field, a lot of them have had issues, have ran into problems. I don't know if it was just being aggressive early on, running into issues, making simple mistakes out there on the racetrack. Nonetheless, those problems have compounded and have put these drivers deep in the field and definitely set back here in this race. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here comes the battle again for this race lead. Matthew Wood trying to hang on to it. It is Jordan Fisher looking to take it away. Is down across the line. 16 laps completed. 9 laps left to go here in stage number 1. And ladies and gentlemen, Boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't done so already, make sure you guys help us out. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that share button. Hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today and turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on PeaceMaker Gaming. As non-stop great racing action here in this one. These drivers are putting on an absolutely amazing show for us. Some craziness there in our first stage. A lot of back and forth, a lot of ups and downs for these drivers as they were all just trying to navigate and keep themselves in contention in a tight area here at the front of the field, and that's where we saw a lot of cats slip up. A lot of cars getting loose out of these corners, a lot of drivers getting into the outside fence, a lot of tore up and hurt race cars out there, but for the drivers that were able to just keep a pretty wheel, keep hitting their marks, not making huge mistakes out there, here they are up at the front of the field. As you take a look, it is Caden Gargiulo who sits in third. Applegate able to use the track down the back straightaway to get around that beautiful 23, Orion Haller. Haller will sit in that fifth position. Wyatt Mickelson right there behind him. Wyatt's looking for some stage points as well as he'll look to try to help his teammate here get a little closer to the front of the field if they can pick up a couple more spots and maybe move this 23 into third, maybe get some extra points for that 51 right of Wyatt Mickelson as well. Could potentially be some major playoff points that they needed here to slowly close out this season. We're almost done this season already, which is absolutely crazy to think. There's been a lot of racing, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of issues throughout this season. Obviously, there's been some high notes, there's been some low notes for pretty much all these drivers, but for the most part, Matthew Wood has been the dominant driver, and it shows by looking at those point standings as things kind of got balanced back out, except for the bonus points coming into these playoffs. He has just continued to stretch that points lead more and more and more. And for that number 16 rider, Matthew Wood still holding on to the race lead here, looking for another stage win, trying to keep Jordan Fisher, the fish, back there at bay. Can the 16 ride pick up another stage win, some more points into his back pocket, and extend his 130-point lead between himself and our second place driver in the points, Mr. Evan Stewart? Unfortunately, Evan, he's back in about the 9th position, trying to take 9th away from Dustin Hardy. They'll continue to duke it out for Evan. He's trying to earn as many points as possible here to finish off this stage, but he's only got 5 more laps left to go. As here we go, the fish once again down low, looking to make the pass here on the Dominator ride as the 16 of Matthew Wood out in front continues to hold on to the race lead. As Anna Alessandro, what's good, Anna? Anna coming in, showing the love, says, "What's up, Peacemaker? What's up, Anna? How are you?" And she comes in cheering on Mr. Matthew Wood here this evening. Emily Clark says, "Go Blair," cheering on Blair Sanders here this evening as Blair rolling back there in position. Number 24 right now, but for Blair Saunders, he had to serve a penalty to start this race. For the 61 ride, went a couple laps down. He was able to get the lucky dog throughout that first caution flag. That got him back to 1 lap down. So for the 24 ride, right now he's battling just in front of Ethan Greek, which would be a fight for about the 14th, 13th position. For the 61 ride, though, he is in position to potentially get that lucky dog, get the wave around and back onto lead lap again here during this stage break. As long as a couple of these drivers do not go a lap down, do not have any more issues, it could really give him an opportunity to get back into the hunt here at the front of the field. As Matthew Wood able to hold off the charge from Jordan Fisher. Fisher will settle back into second. He'll try to mount another challenge here with 3 laps left to go here in the stage. Can Matthew Wood hold on to it? Can he pick up another stage win? As Fisher in second, Applegate there in third. Caden Gargiulo looking to the outside, though, of that 57 ride and able to get a big run down the back straightaway, and you're just going to see that draft, the power of, working together there in the outside lane, blows right on by Applegate, and Applegate falls back now into about position number 7 as the 06 of Caleb Sisk goes for a bit of a slide job on him. There's some contact. Both drivers get tight together. A little bit of issues as the 0-6 gets into the outside fence. Unfortunately, that will hurt both their chances to try to work their way inside the top 5. As Haller rolls there in position number 4, Wyatt Mickelson now rounds out our top 5. They're both looking to try to hunt down this 7 machine of Caden Gargiulo. It's Caden trying to hold on to position number 3 out there on the Speedway. Is out in front, Matthew Wood trying to once again hold off Jordan Fisher. Fisher goes for a big run down low. Going to wash up the racetrack. Unfortunately, not going to have as much speed or momentum down and out of corner number 4 as that 16 ride. And for Matthew Wood, he's able to open up another car length lead down across the line here. That may be enough for him to be able to capture this stage win. Is only 1 lap left to go here in stage number 1. And Wood just looking like himself each and every week, man. This car has been dominant. It has been a front runner. He's led a ton of laps. He's won a bunch of races here in these playoffs, and he is looking to try and get it done here again this evening. As Matthew Wood down and into corner number 3, nice and easy for the final time here in stage number 1. Down and out of 4, he'll drag race back to the start finish line. Fisher will not get there as Matthew Wood picks up stage win number 1 here on the evening. So Matthew Wood picks up another stage win on the evening or on the season, as he's able to get that stage win over Jordan Fisher. Fisher back in second. Caden Gargiulo comes home in third. Wyatt Mickelson able to jump up and take 4th away from Ryan Haller. So Wyatt Mickelson there in 4th, Haller back in 5th. They will both earn some stage points here themselves this evening. Applegate there in 6th. Caleb Sisk back in 7th. Joe David, Dustin Hardy, and Evan Stewart rounds out our top 10 here on the racetrack. As Anna says, yeah, that's my boy, she says. That's my boy, Matthew. Matthew with a big stage win. And with that big stage win, that will extend his points lead even more between himself and the number 37 of Evan Stewart, as Evan will look to try to gain some points here in the second stage and towards the end of this race, as the points lead will be extended here for Matthew Wood. So the points lead, he'll gain a bit more here over that second place driver. Obviously, even bigger points gap between himself and that number 39 ride of Zach Clater. Clater, unfortunately, started on the pole here this evening, but fell back, had some issues, got into the fence, and right now running about mid-pack out there on the Speedway. No stage points for him. I don't believe any stage points, or maybe 1 stage point. Evan Stewart for coming home in 10th there, but really for Matthew Wood, able to gain even more points and could potentially be heading into the second stage with a 135, 140 point differential between himself and Evan Stewart, between the rest of the field here for these point standings. And for Wyatt Mickelson, some big stage points there for Mickelson as he's trying to leapfrog Zach Clater, hoping that he can maybe jump up and steal that second spot in the point standings here on the season. Zach Perry not too far away. Haller is right there as well, but man, it's going to get tight there for that second, third, fourth position in these point standings. But here we go. Everyone will head down pit side. So here comes Matthew Wood. He'll lead them down pit road. I do believe we will see Blair Saunders get the lucky dog. He'll get the free pass. The lucky dog back onto the lead lap. So great break right there for the Type Moon 61 ride as he'll roll around the pace car. He'll get back onto the lead lap and back into contention here this evening for Jaden Porter. He is still scored as a lap down, and for Keegan Huey, still 2 laps down there in that 38 machine. As we'll take a look at the battle down and out of pit road here. Looks like Matthew Wood going to be a little bit slower as Zach Perry going to win the race out of the pits here. So Perry wins that pit race, and now here we go. We see the number 19 of Jordan Fisher comes out in second, Wyatt Mickelson in third. Looks like potentially Haller in fourth, and Matthew Wood falls back now into that 5th position. A little bit of a slower pit stop there for Matthew Wood, and all of a sudden he finds himself there in 5th. He'll have to try to get on top of the wheel, see if he can gain a few spots and try to work his way back to the front of the pack here this evening. As let's see if we can pull our stage winner up and into the booth right now for a little in-race interview. Let's see if we can find him and see if we can pull them up here right now for a little in-race interview. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for Matthew Wood. Hey Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, Matthew, man. What a run, what a drive there. As you're all able to hold off Jordan Fisher, you're able to pick up a few positions there early on in this run to take the race lead, and you earn yourself another stage win. In doing so, stretching out an already massive points lead here this evening coming into this race, man. Take us back through that first stage and what's going through your mind.
I'm tired. Me, Evan, Fisher, and one of our other friends, we ran the 24 hours of Fuji. Didn't really go our way. We crashed out with about 3 hours left, but we were running pretty good. It was in the GTP, but it was really a test run. We're going to run Petit Le Mans this weekend, 12 hours, I believe. So me, Fish, Evan, whoever wants to join, we can get hooked up. But yeah, I'm just really glad that Fish is here. Me and him were having an awesome battle up front. I'm having a blast.
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. You guys are really giving us everything you got. Some crazy action out there on the racetrack. 3, 4, 5 wide at times out there on the Speedway. And for yourself, being able to pick up the stage win here early on this evening, you're in position to potentially try to jump up there, have another good battle as you look at, Caleb Sisk to your outside. You got Wyatt Mickelson back there. You got, Haller now in second, but Fisher right there in front of you, man. How are you going to have to try to work yourself back to the point?
Just be patient. Tires are going to be cold. Some guys are going to spin, but again, just thank the Lord for giving me this opportunity again, and thank you to everybody that's supporting me out there. And hopefully, I can go put on a show for you, even if I don't win. But it's about having fun out here.
Absolutely, brother. We'll have some more fun, and maybe we'll see you back up here in the booth after stage number 2.
Thank you, buddy.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for Matthew Wood as Matthew picking up the first stage win here this evening. We'll get ready to restart now from that third position, as I do believe we saw Zach Perry come back down pit road, and Wyatt Mickelson also making an additional pit stop, coming back down pit road. And for Wyatt, now scored back in the 24th position, will look to try to race his way back up towards the front as Jordan Fisher sees that green flag fly once again, looking to try to keep Matthew Wood and all these other drivers back there at base. The HB Racing Hardy Designs Team Conti machine rolls at the front of the field as you see them again spread out down the back straightaway. 2, 3, 4 wide back there. Everyone trying to find a groove, trying to find a lane, and hoping to try to work themselves up towards the front of the field. As you take a look, you see a few of these drivers slowly navigating their way back up towards the front. The 37 ride of Evan Stewart's right there, now into that 4th position. Here comes Aiden Lucas as the 23 of Ryan Haller trying to keep his car rolling out there on the racetrack in that 3rd position. Watching Matthew Wood try to find something, try to find a lane, some speed, some momentum to be able to jump up here and duke it out with Jordan Fisher for the race lead once again. As Evan Stewart now door to door with Caleb Sisk. Good to see Sisk back out there on the Speedway. He's looking to try to battle and keep himself right here in the thick of things for the checkered flag this evening. Dustin Hardy right there as well. Hardy in position number 7, man. It's been a solid day here for Dustin, and hopefully he can try to finish this off, get a good solid run out of that 86 machine. Joe David right behind him in position number 8. Zach Glader up inside the top 10 here. He rolls in that 9th position, but down low looking to try to make the pass here on that 6th ride of Joe David. As you do see Dylan Carrier, we saw Dylan take the early race lead. He was able to jump out in front, had that race lead for a couple laps, got really loose there at corner number 2, almost ended up into the infield fence. Luckily enough, he was able to catch that car, did not go a lap down, did not get any major damage on it, but had to rebound from the back of the pack, and now working his way up inside the top 10 once again as he moves around Zach Glader for that 9th position. Here comes Marquin Brewer. Applegate's looking to try to rebound after a slower pit stop there himself. Ethan Greek back in 13th with Brandon Eddington. Nick Biddy, who was at the front of the field earlier today as well, led a lap there, had some issues, got into the fence, and unfortunately for the 32 ride, fell back quite a ways as well. Now just trying to rebound, but there's contact. Look out! Up and onto all 4 wheels, off of all 4 wheels for the 12 ride of Brandon Eddington, and big hit right there. More contact. Oh, heartbreaker here for Nick Biddy. Heavy damage for him, and heavy damage for the 74 ride of Jaden Porter, and I do believe for Jaden Porter, this may end his night. Had already used that quick repair after getting into the fence around lap number 4 here this evening. Had to come down pit road during the green flag conditions. That's what got him a lap down to start. But now, all of a sudden, this heavy damage again, that is going to probably take him down pit road for an extended period of time. But let's take a look back at how this one started, as it was the 57 of Applegate. Not sure if Applegate got loose out of the corner, what may have happened here, but Nick Biddy in tow trying to hunt him down, and right there, you see the 57. Rear end kicks out on him. 32 trying to get around, but you see the 57 trying to get it checked up, trying to get it straightened out. Unfortunately, Biddy gets into the back end of him, helps that 57 ride go around. They both wash up into the 12 ride, and look at that car. Is this a high jump? What in the world is going on? He cleared that outside safety fence here for Brandon Eddington. That was a absolutely crazy jump that this car took off that outside fence in the 32 of Nick Biddy. Let's see if we can get another look at it, another angle at it, as he's just going to roll in here. Bam, there's the contact. Look at that car. My gosh. What a hit right there. Woo! Oh, man. That's like shades of Zane Smith from earlier today, right in the wall. And unfortunately for the 12 ride, he's going to go around afterwards. Heavy damage there for him, and we're going to see a lot of other drivers get tied up in it, as we do see the 46 gets a piece of the 42 ride. Then we see Wyatt Mickelson going to get sideways here as well. Mickelson gets sideways, just trying to get checked up, trying to avoid all this chaos, all the carnage and everything else. And for Mickelson, as he does that, the car is just going to get snapped loose and ends up into the outside fence here himself. Look at him trying to get this thing checked up, trying to get woed up, and unfortunately locks it up, slides up the track into the outside fence right there. You'll see the number 49 of Jeff Herrick. He's going to go for a slide in that Chrysler 300 machine. Looks like the 57 will give him a little love tap there as well. But let's take a look up a little farther forward at Jaden Porter. Is Porter trying to work his way through this, trying to get through it for there. He's able to get through it. Unfortunately, sees the 46 and the 42 get together. He cranks it to the right. The car hooks around up and into the fence. And for Nick Biddy, already with some pretty solid damage on that race car, is going to get back into the 74 ride right there, creating even more carnage for that 32 machine. And a lot of tore up race cars down the back straightaway, as you see Jaden Porter parked down pit road trying to get this car repaired. Brandon Eddington still down pit side. Same with Jason Bogart there in the 17. Applegate still down pit road trying to get his car fixed up early on this evening. And I do believe potentially another black flag here for Blair Saunders. So I'm not sure if he'll have to go to the rear of the field, potentially serve an EOL, or if there will be another issue here for the 98 ride of Blair Saunders with the black flag looming over his head. We'll have to wait and see what race control says about that. That will take definitely a few laps off of this second stage of the day, and that will make things a little bit more interesting as down across the line. They will complete lap number 35. So we got 15 laps left to go here in this stage, and I do believe, yeah, there we go, lights are off. So as we go back to green flag racing here for stage number 2, it will be a 14-lap shootout here to end this stage off. Now, that is only being a 14-lap run if we don't see another caution flag get displayed. But if another yellow flag does jump out, then that's going to make this an even shorter run to the green and white checkered flag for stage number 2. As Jordan Fisher has the race lead, Matthew Wood there in second, Ryan Haller in third with Evan Stewart back in position number 4. Caleb Sisk there in 5th, Aiden Lucas there in 6th, and then we see the 86 ride of Dustin Hardy, the 31 of Dylan Carrier, the 6th ride of Joe David and Zach Clater rounding out our top 10 here in this one. As Huey, what's good, Huey? Huey says, internet is not cooperating tonight. Can't stay in the session for more than 20 laps. Oh, man, that is a heartbreaker, man. We saw that early on for you there around, like, what was it, lap 7, lap 8. We saw you, unfortunately, disconnect. I do believe it was lap 7, disconnected, unfortunately, rejoined a couple laps down, but if that's happened again, man, that is a heartbreaker there for Keegan Huey, and that is definitely going to probably take him out of contention here today. And for one of our playoff drivers, you never like to see that. You never like to see that, man. We always wish for nonstop good internet connection. Sam Hardy says, let's go, Dustin Hardy. Cheering on Dustin out there on the racetrack as he gets ready to rumble here from position number 7 as we go back back to green flag racing. Good restart there for Jordan Fisher, able to clear. Matthew Wood slides back up in front of that 16 right as Matthew looking for a big run here. He's got the driver that's not only chasing him down on the racetrack, but chasing him down in the points. The 37 rider, Evan Stewart. Evan rolls right there in position number 3, hoping that he can try to earn some extra points here in this race, trying to close that gap a little bit. He gave up points in stage number 1 to Matthew Wood, but he's trying to earn those points back here in stage number 2. If he can find the run, if he can find the lane, be able to jump up here and maybe take position number 2 and maybe the stage win away from Matthew Wood here this evening. Is down across the line. They'll click off another lap, and it's 13 laps left to go here in stage number deuce this evening. Stage number 2 coming to a close in a quick hurry. Matthew Wood taking a peek down low, going to run door to door out at corner number 2 with that Hardy Designs number 19 of Jordan Fisher. The Fear of the Fish ride, though, with a great run down the back straightaway, able to carry all that speed and momentum, will keep himself at the point, but not for long, as Wood's going to make another big run down to the inside there, door to door there, virtually touching out of corner number 4. But again, the 19 just with that preferred lane, able to get a big run, a good drive, and able to keep this 16 ride still back there at bay, as Matthew has not been close enough, has not had the big enough run to try to throw the trigger on a big slide job to try to take over the race lead again here in stage number 2. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button here this evening, and some absolutely amazing racing action out there on the Speedway, man. These guys have been putting on an absolutely amazing show for us. It's been a ton of fun. There's been some craziness out there on the Speedway. A couple big wrecks, some big hits here at Auto Club Speedway, and we're not even close to halfway done this race. Down across the line, 39% of the way through this feature event, and there you go. You do see the number 98 rider, Blair Saunders, rolling back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately for Blair, he does lose a couple more laps out there on the racetrack, serving another penalty in that Type Moon 61 ride. So I'm not sure what the penalties have been for, why they've been handed out to him. I don't know if it's speeding down pit road or if it's an issue on restarts, but nonetheless, some problems here for that Type Moon 61 machine. Now a couple laps down once again, going to need a couple more caution flags to try to work his way back onto the lead lap, back into contention again here this evening, as he scored back in the 24th position. Luckily enough, he is currently right now the only driver still rolling on the racetrack that is a lap down. So he's the first and only car virtually 1 or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. Jaden Porter still down pit road. Looks like he'll be down there for a very long time, getting this car repaired this evening. And for Keegan Huey, not out there on the Speedway any longer. Heartbreaker there for Huey, as his internet just not cooperating with him here this evening, as Jordan Fisher continues to lead the way, and down across the line, it's 9 laps left to go here in stage number 2. So 9 more laps for Jordan Fisher to try to steal this stage win away from Matthew Wood. Wood, though, trying to battle back, looking to try to put himself back to the point, wanting to earn some more stage points here this evening and get himself up into the booth potentially for another post-stage interview here this evening. Aiden Lucas looking to take over third from that 37 ride of Evan Stewart. Stewart, unfortunately, looks like he will lose position number 3 to that number 34 ride. And now here comes Caleb Sisk. Sisk right there, ready to pounce. Gets down to the inside of that HB Racing ride of Evan Stewart as they battle down across the line. Here comes Dustin Hardy. As Hardy right there as well as the HB Racing team doing a fantastic job here this evening. They got Fisher battling here for the race lead. They got Evan Stewart battling there for third. And now you got Dustin Hardy right there in that 6th position, looking to try to work his way up inside the top 5 here this evening, as well as the Hardy Designs rides looking fancy and looking fast out there on the racetrack, as Zach Later back up into 7th. Dylan Carrier there in 8th. Joe David back in position number 9 with Caden Gargiulo rounding out our top 10. Ryan Haller there in 11th, as Nick Biddy right there behind him. Mark Quinn Brewer, Ethan Greek, Zach Perry there in 15th. And we see Caleb Holloman, Nick Jensen, Wyatt Mickelson rolling to his outside. Mickelson trying to rebound after having to make an additional pit stop there there during our stage break, and for the 51, that lost a lot of track position there for him, and now just trying to inch his way back towards the front of the field. As Jensen right behind him, Jason Bogart back in 19th, Jeff Herrick there in 20th. Mike Corriveau back in 21st with Brandon Eddington at 12th right, who went for a wild ride out of corner number 2 there to bring out that last caution flag. And for the 12 machine, he'll use that quick repair, get this car fixed up, and currently rolls in 22nd. For Applegate, he's back in 23rd, still trying to get some repairs done to this 57 machine. Blair Saunders, a couple laps down, score back there in 24th. Jaden Porter and Keegan Huey bring up the rear of our 26 car field here this evening as Jordan Fisher continue to hold off Matthew Wood, and the laps are clicking down in a quick hurry. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Jordan Fisher holds on to it? Does he win the stage? Can he keep Matthew Wood back there at bay, or can Matthew find a run and potentially take this race lead back away from Jordan Fisher and win both stages here in this Auto Club Speedway feature event? As there you go on the front straightaway, big run for the 16 rider Matthew Wood. He is able to take over the race lead once again from Jordan Fisher. So Fisher does slide back to second. Has he got anything left in the tank? Can he find a run? Can he find a groove to try to jump up there and snag this top spot back away from Matthew Wood? It's going to come right down to the wire here between these two, as they're not going to back down one little bit. As you see, Caleb Sisk now into position number 3. Sisk has looked pretty strong here this evening as well. That 0-6 ride there in position number 3 with Aiden Lucas back in position number 4. Evan Stewart falls back into 5th as Dustin Hardy, Zach Lader, Dylan Carrier, Joe David, and Nick Biddy trying to work his way inside the top 10 as he looks to make the move around the 6 right of Joe David and the 7 of Caden Gargiulo. Unfortunately, down low on the racetrack, he's not going to have any speed or momentum coming out of corner number 2, and he's going to lose both those positions and lose another here, not only to Ryan Haller, but will lose another car length there to the 61 right of Blair Saunders. Is Saunders able to, unfortunately, continue battling here this evening, but is still 2 laps down, and that is a tough spot to be out there on the speedways. Haller now looking to make the move around the 6th ride of Joe David. This is a battle for that 10th position. David, though, going to have some extra help to his back bumper that will help move him along and draft his way still into that 10th position, as here comes Nick Biddy looking for a big run down low, as they're going to be 3 wide off of corner number 2. Oh, baby, things can get tight in a quick hurry out there on the speedway. Luckily enough, none of those drivers ran into major issues. As you see Wyatt Mickelson now back up inside the top 13 here, trying to hunt down our top 10 before the end of this stage. But this stage going to come to a close in a quick hurry as Matthew Wood down across the line. We'll see 2 laps left to go. So 2 more laps left here in stage number 2 here this evening. It's Matthew Wood, the Dominator ride, looking to dominate another event here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, as he looks to keep every one of these drivers back there at bay and trying to keep them off of his back bumper here this evening. As Matthew down and into corner number 3, looking for a solid drive into the corner, looking for an even better drive on corner exit, trying to keep a car length or 2 gap between himself and the 19 of Jordan Fisher. Now Fisher in the 6th ride of Caleb Sisk, door to door out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately that may have held up that 86 ride ever so slightly, but he still gets a great run down into corner number 1, drives it in there deep, looking for maybe the slide jump here on Matthew Wood. He's going to wash up the racetrack. Matthew's looking for a good drive down the back straightaway. He will get the run. He will keep himself just barely in front of Jordan Fisher. Fisher will try to side draft. Matthew will try to throw a bit of a block down into the 1st corner or 3rd corner out there on the racetrack, and it looks like they'll drag race back for this stage win. It is going to be a drag race here, as here comes Caleb Sisk down low. There's contact. Matthew Wood's around. Caution flag is out as Caleb Sisk will win stage number 2 here this evening. So Caleb Sisk able to steal the stage win. Let's take a look back and see what happened here. Let's go forward a little bit to this caution flag. It's just good, hard racing, and unfortunately for the 19 ride, he's driving it in there deep. He's trying to do everything he can to steal this stage win away from Matthew Wood, and unfortunately for Matthew, they're going to make some contact. So here he is rolling through the middle, the 19 ride down low. Now the 19 of Fisher is going to wash up the racetrack here. Sent it in there deep. That's going to push him up the track on corner exit as he continues to come up. Matthews going up. He's not expecting the 19 ride there, and it looks like the 19 a little sideways, knowing that he may make contact. And unfortunately, gets into the 16 ride right there. Matthew Wood gets sideways down into the 0-6 ride of Caleb Sisk as Matthew goes for a quick loop-de-loop right here. He's able to get the car rolling, though, able to keep it driving, and I do believe may have came home still with a top 5 run there in that stage. So we'll have to wait and see how iRacing scores that. They may have scored him in that 4th position after the yellow flag was displayed, and I do believe as they come down pit road, it does look like they scored him in position number 4 as the yellow flag came out. He was still in that 4th position, so at least able to gain a little bit of points there on Evan Stewart. Not much, just 1 point as Stewart finished right behind him in that 5th position. But now here comes everyone else down pit road looking to get some more adjustments, some more tires, some more gasoline into their rides, as this is the end of stage number 2, and that means that our final stage is upon us. And for all these drivers, they know that there may not be another caution flag in this race. If there is 0 yellows out there on the speedway, it could open up the door potentially for some of these guys to just have a good solid run. And again, it looks like Matthew Wood going to be slowed down on pit road. He's going to lose a ton of positions, probably trying to get some of that damage repaired here. Obviously trying to get that car fixed up, not wanting to use the quick repair this early in the run. And for Matthew Wood, he goes from battling for the stage win here in stage number 2 to, a mediocre finish in that stage, getting at least a few stage points. But now down pit road, now going, quite a ways back here, man. Went from battling for the race lead to now back in 23rd, and he's going to have just under 50 laps to try to battle back, to try to put himself back into this hunt towards the front. As definitely tough break right there, as Bill Fisher says, that's too bad, because Jordan and Matthew are good friends, and I know Jordan will feel bad about that. Yeah, definitely just hard racing there. Hard racing, tight racing. Both drivers trying to give it everything they got. They're trying to beat each other, and unfortunately, it's just good hard racing. Sometimes you just get in there a little too far or can't get out of the throttle quick enough, and unfortunately there, tight racing out of corner number 4, coming to the green and white checkered flag for the stage end. Neither driver was going to lift, neither driver was going to really back down, and unfortunately caused quite a bit of damage there for Matthew. A little bit of damage for that number 19 of Jordan Fisher. Fisher's not going to be too concerned about that damage, though, as he'll stay out in front. He'll continue to have this race lead. He'll look to just try to pull away here. He's got the 7 right of Caden Gargiulo there to his outside. Zach Clater on his back bumper in 3rd. Dustin Hardy is Hardy Designs teammate right there behind him in position number 4. Then we see the 31 ride, Dylan Carrier. Carrier's back up inside the top 5. Great rebound there for the DJC machine as the cinematography ride of Dylan Carrier rolls there in that 5th position. Evan Stewart there to his outside. And then we see the 6th ride, Joe David. Solid run so far here this evening for Joe as he rolls in 7th. Wyatt Mickelson rebounding back inside the top 10 here for that HendrickCars.com ride, as Nick Biddy back in 9th, and Ryan Haller. It's Haller's father's birthday here this evening, so happy birthday again to Ryan's old man here this evening, as Ryan Haller will get ready to restart right behind his teammate back in the 10th position. And then we see drivers in the likes of Zach Perry, Nick Jensen, Ethan Greek, Caleb Holloman, Caleb Sisk, Jason Bogart, Grant Applegate, Mike Corriveau, Brandon Eddington, Jeff Herrick, our top 20. Aiden Lucas back in 21st. Marquin Brewer, Matthew Wood there in 23rd. Blair Saunders, the first car 1 lap down, scored back in 24th. That's Jaden Porter and Keegan Huey, both done and out of this race. As here we go, back to green flag racing as our final stage is upon us. Potentially, that was our final restart of the evening. We'll have to wait and see how this gets played out. If that was the final restart, potentially could be a great break here for that 19 ride, as he'll have a ton of track position between himself and our driver that won stage number 1, that number 16 of Matthew Wood, is Matthew all the way back here, but now there's some issues. Look out, caution flag back on the racetrack as Ethan Greek goes around. Heavy contact there for the AG's Designs Toyota as Ethan Greek goes for a couple loop-de-loops, and the yellow flag will be displayed here once again. As let's take a look at it, as maybe some contact here down the back straightaway. See Applegate in the middle. 46 Ryan going to get up into Applegate right there. Then he's going to get back into him on corner entry right here. Unfortunately, nothing for the 57 right of Applegate to really do except for trying to hang on and keep this car as much as he can pointed in the right direction. See if we can get another look at it as, yeah, you're just going to watch these guys head into the corner. Applegate kind of coming down a little bit, but the 50 or 46 ride just kind of gets in there a little too late. So Applegate's making a left-hand turn here. He's trying to make this corner and get this car set into the middle, and for the 46, just a late entry, gets up into that left rear quarter panel of the 57. That gets Applegate sideways here on the racetrack, and then bam, contact right there. Even though it was just slight contact, it hooks that 3 right of Ethan Greek around, and Ethan backs it up into the outside fence. Big hit there for him, and a big hit as well for the 34 of Aiden Lucas. Aiden, one of the drivers that's been up inside our top 5 right there, ends up getting a big piece of that one. And look at the 16 right. We talked about Matthew Wood going to the back of the pack looking for repairs. He just squeezes through there, just barely avoids a major contact, and unfortunately for a couple of these other drivers, not so lucky, as we do see Aiden Lucas in the 61 stay tied together a little bit right there. Maybe a little contact for Blair Saunders, not much though, as he'll be able to keep that car rolling, keep that car pointing in the right direction. I do believe for Blair that should give him the wave around. The lucky dog back on the lead lap, so that's a great break there for him. But for Ethan Greek and Aiden Lucas, they'll both head down pit road. Heavy right side damage here for that GOAT Racing diecast machinist. He'll head down into his pit stall. The crew will look to go to work, try to get this thing fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack. Looks like he will use his quick repair, the one and only quick repair, and ready to keep on going back to battle. As Dr. Relief, Mr. Dylan Carrier in the chat says, my wheel disconnected on that restart. Oh no, heartbreaker there for Dylan Carrier. Before the caution flag came out, we were going to go back and take a look and see what happened. I saw that he went off the racetrack there on the restart. I wasn't sure if he spun the tires or what may have happened here, but unfortunately for Dylan Carrier, looks like some issues here on the restart. His wheel disconnecting. Let's take a look at it here as he's restarting in the 5th position, and right there, car just makes a hard left-hand turn, so the wheel just turns hard to the left as it disconnects from his PC, and unfortunately for the 31, nothing you can really do. You can't get to reconnect that quickly to be able to get back into the battle, back into the action. Unfortunately, as he washes down the racetrack into the inside fence here on pit road, looks like he's just going to alt that for that thing and take it right off of the racetrack and out of the server. So heartbreaker there for him, as unfortunately that looks like it may be the end of his night, as he says, it's so hot, it overheated. I can't even touch the base. Oh my gosh. Brother, you may have to check that thing out, man. I don't know if that thing needs some grease or what it may need, but it's definitely gonna, it needs something, man. It shouldn't be that hot. My gosh, what in the world? How is it running that hot? How's it being that spicy, brother? It can't be that spicy. Here we go. We will get them stacked up. We will get them racked up and ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, as we'll try this again. We'll see if we can get these guys rolling, pointed back in the right direction. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here this evening. We get ready to duke it out again today, as these drivers, man, they're getting down to the nitty-gritty, going back to Green Flag Racing. They will complete lap number 57 out there on the racetrack, meaning we got 43 laps left in this feature event. So, 50 or 43 laps left to go. you know, there's still a lot of time. You can kind of rebound. You can drive your way back up there. You can play some more strategy here, especially if we see a long green flag run. Coming down pit road early, maybe getting those early tires, leapfrogging some drivers, or waiting a little bit later, maybe catching a caution flag, catching some of these drivers a lap down, or just trying to not make a mistake down pit side and getting a good solid finish here this evening may help your case out for a good run on the day. As out in front, Jordan Fisher down through the Geico restart zone will get a good restart, but a perfect jump there for the 39 ride of Zach Clater. Clater trying to stay there to the outside of that 19 ride. Couldn't quite close the door as the 19 of Jordan Fisher will clear him in the Fear the Fish ride out in front. Looking to try to extend this race lead, hoping to try to keep all these drivers back there at base. There's more contact. Look out. It's Zach Clater who's going to wash down the racetrack. Now they're bouncing around again. More contact, more carnage. Oh my gosh, how are we still rolling? What in the heck is going on? Let's take a look here, see what happens to Zach Clater as Clater has the 7 ride of Caden Gargiulo all over his back bumper right here. Gargiulo just going to get into him. It shoots that 39 ride down the racetrack onto the apron. He's going to wash back up the speedway and onto the racing surface, but all the lead lap cars, everyone able to get around him, so no caution flag there on the racetrack for it, as we did see more drivers run into issues, and I think it's the same thing. They're far enough down on the apron that it does not bring the yellow flag out, as you see Gargiulo after the contact loses a ton of speed and momentum. The 32 ride of Nick Biddy gets into the 7 ride. He's got to get checked up, and as he does get checked up, looks like Evan Stewart potentially going to get a piece of him right here. Let's take a look at it. So right there you see the contact for Evan Stewart as he sees the 32 getting checked up for the 7 ride. Now that's going to hook this 32 up the racetrack. Nowhere to go for Ryan Haller as Haller bounces into the side of him. Now you'll watch the 32 come back down the racetrack into the 1776 Motorsports number 76 ride of Zach Perry right there. Unfortunately for Perry and the 32 and Nick Biddy, both washed down onto the apron here. No caution flag. It stays clean and green for Haller. Unfortunately, all that contact and damage there has really set him back, as he is now riding back in about the 19th position, and pretty solid damage on this number 23 machine. And Matthew Woods right there in front of him. Matthew, I don't know if he just saw some of the carnage, saw some of the mayhem, decided to roll out of it, trying to check up, and now all of a sudden, as he has checked up, he has fallen back here to the 18th position, and he is quite a ways away from the rest of the field. Over a second and a half here to this number 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. So for Matthew Wood, he'll really have to try to work on his car, see if he can try to make some changes or try to figure out some different lines or something to regain some of this track position and get himself back into the battle here this evening, as Nick Biddy still down pit road, has not rolled back out onto the racetrack. We do see the 76 of Zach Perry. Perry will roll back out there, unfortunately, for the number 76 ride. He is currently, I do believe, 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, 3 laps down now, as our race leaders are going to go by him. He still has very heavy front end damage here on this 76 machine as he rolls down and out at corner number 2. You'll exit the pit road area. You'll keep on rolling. You'll keep on rolling. Looks like he will come to a stop right there. Looks like he'll tow that car back down pit road for Zach Perry. Potentially the end of his night here this evening. And for Nick Biddy, looks like he's going to keep that car down pit road for a while as well. That's a heartbreaker there for 2 tough competitors, 2 of our playoff drivers who have just gotten collected there in some of these some of the contact and incidences out there on the speedway. And now it's Jordan Fisher out in front. He's got a sizable lead, 1.5 seconds between himself and his teammate Dustin Hardy, as Hardy rolls there in position number 2. Caleb Sisk in third here, looking to try to take over that second position as the 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson working his way back up towards the front. The HendrickCars.com ride hoping to try to get a solid run, a solid finish, and maybe try to gain a couple extra spots here in the point standings, as you see the 0-6 down low gets a little bit loose there. Has to roll out of the throttle. He'll lose a few spots down the front straightaway. Now here comes Jason Bogart. Here comes the number 14 ride of Brewer. These guys are just going to roll right down low and around that 06 ride. Unfortunately for Caleb Sisk, falls back a few spots out there on the racetrack. Now sits in about the 9th position, as it looks like Applegate will complete the pass on him there as well. So he falls back into 9th as Jordan Fisher just looking to continue to pull away, trying to keep all these drivers back at bay as the Team Watson set up 1776 Motorsports number 7 ride of Caden Gargiulo. Caden gonna get a little loose right there, oh baby. Man, it seems like this final stage here, this final couple runs, looking a lot like the first couple runs that we saw, where these drivers are really pushing these race cars. They're really getting loose. They're kicking their rear ends out and around. They're losing the handling of these cars, and unfortunately, it's caused a bit of chaos, a bit of carnage, and a couple more cars now parked down pit side and out of this race. Definitely not the thing we like to see, as Jordan Fisher, he's just looking to try to pull away, keep all these guys back at bay, and just continue to try to drive his way into what could be a big win this evening. You do see the 32 ride back out there on the racetrack, so he's got fresher tires here for that number 32, as Nick Biddy was down pit road, had that quick repair. The team put tires onto this car, and now for the 32 machine, he's trying to work himself at least one lap back here, so he is going to pass the number 19 right at Jordan Fisher. Fisher is not going to put up too much of a fight there with Nick Biddy, knowing that Biddy is a few laps down now, as I do believe he's following right behind our race leader. He should be about 3 laps down out there on the Speedway, 3-4 laps down here behind behind our race leader, well, right in front of our race leader, Zach Perry. Still down pit side. Unfortunate break there for Perry, as he sits in position number 23 out there on the Speedway. As we see Applegate, all these drivers continue to battle. It looks like Applegate's got some more right front damage there on that 57 ride. Unfortunately, he's already used up that quick repair, as Mickelson slides back into 5th. Joe David able to get around him here, and David now rolls in position number 4 as he continues to look for more. Mike Corriveau having one of his best days. Is look out, there goes the 06. Caleb Sisk has looked very loose all day long, and he ends up running into the 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. Aiden already using that quick repair. I do believe this will end his night here this evening for Aiden Lucas. That was a massive, massive hit there for that number 34 ride. As watch this 06 ride right here, gets loose out of the corner, trying to catch it. Car finally goes around, and as it does go around, it just washes back up the racetrack here, and unfortunately for Aiden Lucas, really just nowhere for him to go here. Let's see if we can look here at Aiden's ride, what he sees here. Let's jump on board with this number 34 machine, as here we go. Sees the car spinning out down low, goes to the high side, and all of a sudden the 6 just washes right back up into his lap, and that just absolutely destroyed this race car. This car is absolutely seen some better days, and after a couple big hits over the last couple caution flags, this will probably put Aiden Lucas down pit road for a very extended period of time here. Now for Blair Saunders, the Tight Moon ride, I do believe he was still the first car 1 lap down, so he should be in line to get the lucky dog back on the lead lap here this evening, as the Hardy Designs HB Racing number 19 ride of Jordan Fisher continues to hold on to the race lead, but there seems to be some potential here for some different pit strategies. I don't think anyone can come down pit road right now and make it to the end of the race without having to come back down pit side and get fuel, but I kind of have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see everyone come down pit road right here and throw some tires onto their race car. They're going to get tires, they're going to get fuel. This will bring them probably about 5 laps, 7 laps shy of being able to make it to the checkered flag. But I think for a lot of these drivers, and for some of them, maybe they can stretch it out. If they can save enough fuel, if they can run a little slower or half throttle down the straightaways, potentially they can find enough speed and find enough fuel savings that maybe they can make it here on this final stop. Maybe this will be their final stop, or potentially and to see everyone still make a green flag pit stop later in this race as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to duke it out here once again as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you guys jump into the comment section right now and cheer on your favorite driver. Who do you want to see pick up the win here this evening as Fisher will beat everyone off of pit road. He will stay in the race lead. Caden Gargiulo there in second. Brandon Eddington will be in third with Dustin Hardy back and forth. Joe David, Jason Bogart, Grant Applegate there in 7th, Wyatt Mickelson back in 8th, Mike Corvo there in position number 9, and Evan Stewart will round out our top 10. Ethan Greek there in 11th with Nick Jensen, Matthew Wood, Zach Clater, Mark Quinn Brewer, Caleb Sisk, Ryan Haller, and Jeff Herrick will round out our top 18. Caleb Pullman back in position number 19, and Blair Saunders back onto the lead lap here. Saunders will restart back in the 20th position. For Nick Biddy, he's a few laps down, scored back here in the 21st spot. He's looking for the wave around, the free pass back onto the lead lap here this evening as he will roll around the pink scar here before we go back to battle. And for the number 32, will at least gain another lap here and potentially, a couple more caution flags, maybe work him into a couple more wave arounds, a couple more lucky dogs, could put himself back into this racing action as we do see a bunch of drivers come back down pit road here. We see Jason Bogart back down pit side, Nick Jensen, Zach Clater, Brandon Eddington, Mark Quinn Brewer, all coming back down pit road, getting fuel into their race cars, as fuel could be really, really tight coming back down pit road on lap number 69. Maybe that will be the difference maker here. Maybe everyone will be half a lap shy, and maybe these guys that came back down pit road, maybe they'll be able to make it to the end here. Maybe they'll be able to make this 31 lap run to the end. Well, when we go back to green flag racing, it will be 30 laps left to go here in this feature event. As Mrs. Haller says, Haller and Mickelson and Matthew Wood, as Anna says, Matthew Wood, cheering on Matthew here this evening as we get ready to set these drivers back loose. We get ready to go back to green flag racing. And as we do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. So we want you guys to crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we get ready to set these drivers back loose, and we get ready to crank up that volume and hear the sights and sounds of the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League here at Auto Club Speedway. As here we go back to green flag racing it in to the PeaceMaker Gaming. Crank it up we go. it up for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session as the laps continue to click down. We got 13 laps left to go out there on the Speedway as Matthew Wood has now worked his way back up and into position number 2 out there on the racetrack. But the gap is 3 seconds to Jordan Fisher. Fisher has been able to open up a massive lead advantage here. And with 3 seconds between himself and that 16 of Matthew Wood, it may take a caution flag or a miracle for Matthew to be able to try to chase him down and try to steal this win away from the Hardy Designs Team Conti number 19 machine here this evening. As Fisher out in front looking pretty, Matthew Wood now into second. Caleb Sisk battling back after going for a spin himself there. The 06 ride rolls there in third with Caden Gargiulo back in fourth. Dustin Hardy right now rounding out our top 5 is Zach Later there in 6th. Grant Applegate back in 7th. Joe David there in 8th with Mike Corvo. Blair Saunders rounding out our top 10. Great rebound here for Blair Saunders after going a couple laps down twice here on the evening. Able to get a few of those lucky dogs. I believe 4 free passes back on the lead lap here this evening. And for that Type Moon machine, he is now into position number 9 on the Speedway. Zach Later got a piece of the outside fence, has slid back now into the 11th position, moving Ryan Haller back inside the top 10 out there on the racetrack. Ethan Greek rolls there in position number 12 with Evan Stewart back in 13th. Wyatt Mickelson, we saw him there during the crank it up, get a little bit loose, slid backwards, unfortunately went from battling inside the top 5 to now being back in about the 14th position out there on the racetrack. Caleb Hallman back behind him there in 15th with Jason Bogart, Brandon Eddington, Jeff Hurek, and Nick Jensen running at our top 19. They're the lead lap cars. Unfortunately here for Nick Biddy. Biddy still 2 laps down, scored back in that 20th position. We'll need a couple more caution flags to try to work himself back into the action as Mark Wynn Brewer down and out of this race. Aiden Lucas still down pit side, scored there in 22nd. Zach Perry down pit road back in 23rd with Dylan Carrier, Jaden Porter, and Keegan Huey also back down behind pit wall and out of this race. As we started with 26, only 20 drivers still rolling out there on the racetrack, and they're all chasing down Jordan Fisher as the Fish still extending his points lead as Matthew Wood has given back up position number 2. Caleb Sisk has worked his way back around that number 16 machine as we did hear Matthew clutching it quite a bit during the crank it up there. The 16 ride and a few of these other drivers were backing down the pace. They were trying to save some fuel. They were trying to make this run a little bit longer, and that may have been able to give them enough time and enough laps that they were able to save enough fuel here that they may be good to go. They may be able to make it to the end of this race without having to make an additional pit stop. And for Jordan Fisher, he has been really on the gas pedal. He's just been running away and opening up more and more of a lead. I'm not sure how much of a break he's been giving this car trying to save any fuel out there on the racetrack. Maybe he thinks if he can kind of, build this big lead and then in the closing laps try to save that fuel, that may work out for him. As let's take a look on board. So you see him starting to roll, not quite as heavy on the throttle here, down into corner number 3. We're just rolling on that throttle down through 3 and out of 4. And not really jumping hard back onto the gas pedal, coming out of corner number 4 and trying to keep this car in that 5th gear. So it seems like potentially for Jordan Fisher, maybe trying to start to save a little bit of fuel here in that number 19 ride, but really when we look back at a driver like Matthew Wood, Wood is completely out of the throttle here. No throttle at all. Little burp right there. Get that fuel rolling again. Starts to get back onto the throttle. And let's take a look here as he heads down the racetrack. What it's looking like here is he's only really getting to that second yellow, maybe starting to hit that red line a little bit, but then right there, as soon as he gets close to his cutoff there for the corner, he just completely turns that car off. Virtually using no gas, coasting it through these corners. That's saving a little bit every single time he does that. Every corner that he's doing that, he's saving that little bit extra that may be able to give him enough that at the end of this race, maybe that's enough for him to get to the end without having to make an additional pit stop. For Jordan Fisher, it may not be enough. It may be too much gas that he's using still out there on the racetrack, so it could get very, very tight here for a lot of these drivers when it comes down to the fuel savings here this evening. As Fisher still holds about a 3-second lead between himself and Caleb Sisk. Matthew Wood there in third, and then we see Caden Gargiulo in position number 4. He's looking for more here now. He is definitely not saving any fuel as he's keeping that foot in the throttle and will roll right on around that 16 ride of Matthew Wood. Applegate back there in 5th with Dustin Hardy in 6th. Zach Lander back in 7th here as he's got Blair Saunders right on his back bumper. Mike Corriveau and Joe David round out our top 10 here on the Speedway as they're all trying to navigate their way back to the point, looking for the race lead, hoping that they can find a big enough run to try and advance themselves here into a better position late in this race. If there's green flag pit stops, if they got enough fuel, if they can make it to the end without having to worry about the fuel savings, it could be the make or break moment out there on the Speedway. As Caleb Ramsey, what's good, Caleb? Caleb coming in, showing the love with that like on the stream over there on Facebook. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying the racing action so far here this evening, make sure you hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family today over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We're live each and every single night of the week with some amazing racing action as we only get 8 laps left to go here in this feature event. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty, and for Jordan Fisher, still holding that 3-second lead between himself and Caleb Sisk. It could get very, very tight in a quick hurry for a bunch of these drivers. That fuel mileage, it is going to start to become a big difference maker as we do see Joe David. Joe David has to come down pit road, so for the 6th ride, not saving enough, now hoping to come down pit road, get some fuel, have a good clean pit stop. Maybe if he's got some fresh tires still back there behind pit wall, maybe it'll leapfrog some drivers and try to put himself maybe a little bit closer to a better finish here this evening. But a big mistake down pit road, slides through his pit stall right there. Unfortunately, that little bit, that couple seconds could unfortunately cost him a top 10 run here this evening as he gets rolling once again out there on the racetrack. Looks like Fisher is going to stay out there for at least another lap as we get 6 laps left to go. Caleb Sisk in 2nd with Caden Gargiulo back there in 3rd. Matthew Wood rolls in position number 4. We'll see if he's got some more here left in the tank to try to jump up here in battle, maybe gain a couple more positions and work himself back up onto the podium here this evening as Applegate back in position number 5. The 32 ride that is battling with him here, unfortunately, that is Nick Biddy. Biddy is scored back in the 20th position. He's about 3 laps down out there on the Speedway, and unfortunately for Nick Biddy, the contact there early in this race, or middle of this race, probably going to keep him back there in a tough finish here this evening. As he continues to keep on rolling, that's Joe David, who has now went a lap down after making his pit stop, scored back there in 19th, as they do see the 57 ride of Applegate rounding out our top 5 there on the racetrack. Zach Clader back in 6th with Dustin Hardy there in 7th. Mike Corriveau, Blair Saunders, and Ethan Greek round out our top 10. Evan Stewart there in 11th with Ryan Haller back in 12th. Wyatt Mickelson right there in 13th. Jason Bogart, Caleb Holloman, Nick Jensen there in 16th. Brandon Eddington, Jeff Hurrick, Joe David, Nick Biddy, Marquin Brewer, Aiden Lucas, Zach Perry, Dylan Carrier, Jaden Porter, and Keegan Huey rounding out our field here this evening. As here we go, our race leader down pit side. So Jordan Fisher could not wait any longer, and with 4 laps left to go, has to come down pit road, has to get fuel into this 19 machine. So Jordan Fisher comes down pit road. He also sees his teammate Dustin Hardy come down pit side. Is Hardy looking for that splash of gas and going here, hoping that it's enough to get him to the checkered flag here this evening, and hoping that maybe more of these drivers have to also make this pit stop. is down in through corner number 3 and 4, coming back down the front straightaway and across the line. They will complete lap number 97. 3 more laps left to go here in this race. And for these drivers, I'm not sure if they're coming down pit road or not. Have they saved enough? Do they have enough left in the tank to get to the end? Does Matthew Wood, has he saved enough? Can he start to make some moves, start to use that throttle a little bit more and try to work his way into what could be a victory here this evening as he jumps back up and around Caden Gargiulo. Gargiulo slides back to third. Matthew Wood there in second. Can he make a move and maybe get around the 0-6 riders? Here we go. Caleb Sisk looks like he will make the hard left-hand turn. Cannot make it another lap. Has to come down pit road. So Caleb Sisk also gives up the race lead. Heads down pit side, is across the line. Our new race leader again this evening. It's Matthew Wood. Sees 2 laps left to go here in this race. 2 more laps left here for Matthew Wood. Has he worked the calculator perfectly? Has he timed things out the right way to work himself into what could be a massive checkered flag here this evening again in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League as he looks to try and capture another win and extend his points lead over the rest of our playoff drivers? As he came into this race with a 130-point lead, it may be extended towards 150 after this feature event as the white flag has been displayed. All he's got to do is make it 1 more lap. If he can't get there, Caden Gargiulo is ready to pounce. Zach Glater up and into third. Great run here for Glater as Applegate back there in fourth. Blair Saunders up inside the top 5, but Saunders looking a little slow out there on the racetrack. There goes that 37 of Evan Stewart. I do believe we're going to see Blair Saunders is out of fuel. Saunders out of fuel down on the apron, and it looks like potentially we're going to see the 46 also run out of gasoline. So more and more drivers running into problems. Is down and out of 4 and back down across the line. It is Matthew Wood who is able to pick up the checkered flag and win another race here in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, and that will put him solidly into our points lead even farther, and I do believe that may even clinch the championship here for that 6-team machine as he is going to have a massive points lead for our final 3 races of the season. Virtually all he's got to do is just show up for maybe 1 or 2 of them. Probably doesn't even have to, turn more than a lap or 2. Get the last place points. Should be enough for him to probably lock down the championship here this year as Matthew Wood picks up the dub. Massive run right there for him. Caden Gargiulo comes home in second. Zach Glater there in third. We see Applegate back in fourth. Looks like he is out of fuel. Evan Stewart in fifth. Wyatt Mickelson back in sixth. Jason Bogart, Ryan Haller, Caleb Holloman, and Nick Jensen round out our top 10. Jordan Fisher back in 11th with Brandon Ennington. Mike Corvo trying to get to the end of this race here. Currently scored in the 13th position. Jeff Herrick there in 14th. Blair Saunders trying to finish this race back in that 15th position. Joe David, Dustin Hardy, Ethan Greek, Caleb Sisk, and Nick Biddy round out our top 20 out there on the racetrack as the number 61 trying to get to the checkered flag. Here is Matthew Wood. Doesn't look like he's got enough fuel left in the tank to even go for a burnout here this evening. He has to pull it down into the infield here. He's got to get some work done. Obviously, he needs to get this car some gas in it before he can even do a burnout. iRacing won't allow it, so that's going to be a good one for him as Haller says ran out at the line for 8th. Let's go, baby. Hey, listen, great run, great race right there for you, Kev. Great run out there, Mr. Ryan Haller coming home there in 8th. His teammate as well, Wyatt Mickelson, great day for him coming home in position number 6 as Haller says had 0.4 laps of fuel on the last lap. Laugh out loud. That is crazy. 0.4 laps left on fuel there for the last lap. Luckily enough, able to make it the rest of the way around the speedway and able to finish off that final lap in a solid top 10 run there for Ryan Haller. Mickelson right there in front of you back in 6th as it's all Matthew Wood though. Is Matthew able to pick up the checkered flag, win this race, and park himself up and into the Auto Club Speedway victory lane? Let's get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Hello.
Matthew, man, good to see you back up here in the booth, mister, after a solid run and another great drive out there on the speedways. This race, all of a sudden, with that, lap, what was it, 68, 67 lap caution flag right there. We saw all of you guys come down pit road on lap number 68, getting fuel, and you knew it was going to be tight. It was going to be a tough one to try to get to the end of this race to try and pick up a race win this evening, but you're able to calculate everything perfectly. You get to the front. You're able to battle there for a little bit with the 0-6 of Caleb Sisk, the 7 of Caden Gargiulo, and then it seemed like you realized that, hey, I can't chase down that 19 right of Fisher. I got to take it easy on fuel because I still need to make it to the end of this race. You back it down. You fall back to third, and then in these closing laps, you're able to use what you saved up. You go back around the 7, you see the 0-6 assist have to come down pit road, and then from that point on, you just have it on cruise control as you're able to drive it home, keeping it on that cruise control to pick up the checkered flag again here on this season in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, extending your points lead even more here in the championship battle, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, definitely a fun one. I think we had really good pace. That was absolutely generational battle for the lead with Fisher and Sisk. Sucks that the actual race for the lead ended with me spinning there, but just hard racing. I was able to 360 save it, and then on that restart I came down and basically cleared myself on Jeffrey after all the chaos was happening on the restart, and then I was stuck in the back, and then yeah, that caution's probably the best thing that happened, and I was able to save. I didn't know how many people were going to try and save it. I knew Sisk wasn't going to be able to because he was shifting. I knew Fisher was a maybe. I didn't think so because he was too far out ahead, but I thought Caden wasn't going to be good on fuel because I thought he was in the same boat as Sisk. I thought I heard him shifting, but when it came down to it, uh, he asked me if I had enough fuel there with 2 to go, and I was like, yeah, I have enough. And then by him saying sadness, I thought, well, he's not going to make it on fuel. He's going to have to pit. And then I think he sputtered on the front straightaway. But if I would have known that he wasn't going to, he was actually going to make it all the way to the line, I feel bad. I feel bad. It would have been nice to see him win. But in my heart, like, I know it's just racing, but in my heart, I think I owe him one. But a really fun race, a really good race from everybody. Sucks what happened to Dylan, but that was unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate break there for Mr. Carrier, and obviously for a lot of these guys late in this race having to make those, closing lap pit stops really took them out of it. Obviously, Fisher strong here throughout this race. Sucks to see him outside the top 10 after that strategy just went the wrong way there for him. I don't know if he was expecting to see maybe a caution flag. If the yellow flag came out, he was able to keep the race lead in the track position, and then through the caution, save enough fuel to get to the end. But obviously, he was a few laps shy, had to come down pit road there. Same with Sisk and a few of these other drivers. We saw a bunch of them running out of fuel on the final lap. A lot of guys were very close there on fuel, and even some just running out just past the start finish line and just calculating it right here tonight. But kind of take us through it. Obviously, iRacing has the black box. It kind of gives you a fairly decent idea on where you're going to run out of fuel or how many laps you have left in the tank. And obviously here tonight, you were able to save enough. We heard you there during the crank it up. You were clutching it going into the corners, really just letting out of the throttle, not wanting to, let it eat and use up that gasoline, and it pays off, man. How much fuel did you have to save, and how did you get that done?
Well, throughout the whole time, I was really clutching in, and once you clutch in, once you kind of let out of that, it bites and it wants to hook the front end. So I was using that to my advantage to get the car to turn. Of course, when you're clutching in, the car's going to go a little bit deeper into the corner. It's not going to slow down as much. You don't have engine braking. So I'm using more brake than I would have. Not much, but just a little bit, so where I'm going into the corner as normally as I could. Just lifting earlier and then letting the car roll in, which does hurt the right front in the long term, but the right front's not going to matter when fuel's that close. But then in the center of the corner, I'd get back on throttle as soon as I let out of it, not to where the RPMs rise, because that would spin me, but I let out of it and then it kind of hooks and then I get back on the throttle, and that not only helps me keep pace, but helps me continue to save fuel as well. But yeah, I had to save quite a bit there. I ran out right after the line, so definitely a close one. But again, thank everybody that's on the team and everybody that supports me out there. It's a blessing to have you guys out there. I know Landon, his family's out there, and anybody else who always comes out and supports me. You do a great job up here as always. Love to have you here, and thank the Lord for what He's done for me, for what He always will. If you don't know Him, it's time to know Him. It's coming down to the end days. Just if you ever need help, ask me. But yeah, just incredible race, and we'll go out. I think Richmond's next week, so we go out to Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. Going out to a short track here. I do believe it's our third final race, I do believe. So only 3 races left here in this series, in the playoffs here. And for yourself, you came into this race with a 130-point lead between yourself and Evan Stewart. You were able to beat him and win stage number 1. He came 10th. You were able to beat him in there, I do believe, because you brought the caution flag out with the spin there. But I think you were able to hold on to 4th for the stage, and it put Evan back in 5th, so you're able to gain another point there as well. And then here in the feature event, obviously you win the race, he comes home in 5th, so you should be gaining a very good amount of points here again on him, almost probably going into our third final race of the season with almost 150 point lead between yourself and our second place driver. Do you think that kind of solidifies it and locks you in potentially now mathematically as our champion on the season?
I'll have to look at points, but as far as points go, I need 180 points. You get 60 points a race if you win both stages in the race. So I need 180 points on second to lock it in. Like, I might be the champion right now. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure we'll figure that out eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all it takes is another good run, a solid drive there at Richmond next week, and you might have it locked up with 2 races left to go in the season. As, man, it's been a whirlwind for yourself. Obviously, a lot of wins, a lot of trips up here into the booth and into victory lane here, and you capture another one tonight at Auto Club Speedway. A very interesting one, a fuel strategy one, and it's great to see that it was able to finish actually under the green flag conditions and not have the fuel strategy kind of go out the window with a late race caution flag, because it made it very, very exciting to see how this one played out. And obviously for yourself, being able to pick up another win, park that 16 ride back in victory lane. Man, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
Yeah, again, just thank everybody that's out there supporting me. And again, this AG Motorsports is treat me like family. It's a great place to be, and this whole league is we feel like family with each other. So just awesome time, and glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're glad to see you out there on the racetrack, continuing to impress and improve week after week after week, and continue to just find more and different ways to find yourself up here into victory lane. Matthew, congratulations on the race win. We can't wait to see you back in action at Richmond next Sunday night.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Matthew Wood as he picks up the checkered flag here this evening and parks the 16 ride back up into victory lane. His roadkill, Mr. Caden Gargiulo in the chat, says he didn't claim it this race, he will claim it in the next race. So the points should be pretty sizable, and as long as he doesn't give up, probably I'm going to say, 20, 30 points to Evan Stewart next Sunday night, he should have it locked up next weekend. So for Matthew Wood, potentially with 2 races left to go in the season, may be clear and free of the championship, even if he just doesn't even show up for the final 2 races, may still have that championship locked down for the final couple races here. So all he's got to do is go out there, have one more good run, and he should be our champion here for our inaugural season with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, just showing his pure dominance. I don't even know how many wins that guy has on the season now. I don't know if there's a stats area that has the points stat of the day. I don't know if that is going to I don't know if we're going to see if that shows here or not. Set of the day. I don't see it there. Past seasons, current season. I think that's for something else. Huh. Oh, there was a spot on here that had some of the points and some of the. So I don't know. I don't know how many wins this guy has, but it's a lot for Matthew Wood, man. I don't know how many wins he actually has on the season now, but it's gotta be double digits and getting closer to like I don't even know 13, 14 wins on the season. It's just been unreal how good he's been this year. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 7 rider, Caden Gargiulo, coming oh so close to victory lane here this evening. Let's pull Caden up here into the booth for his second place run. Hey, Caden, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Caden, man, solid run, solid drive here this evening as you're able to come home with a very good second place run, but some tight racing out there on the Speedway all evening long. You're right there in the thick of it, battling inside the top 5, top 10 all day long. And here you are at the end of this race, trying to keep yourself in a position, hoping that maybe Matthew Wood would run out of fuel like we saw with Caleb Sisk and Jordan Fisher, where you would be able to claim victory here this evening. Unfortunately, Matthew able to just save enough and keep you back there at bay to find the championship or the race win here this evening. You got to settle in for second.
Yeah. There's bittersweet. This is more like sour sweet. Like this had I waited one more lap to start pushing there, I would have had the fuel to win it. And knowing that, of course, retrospect, fucking whatever it's called, hindsight is 2020. That. Um, but it was a good race. I was very happy to see that it went green as long as it did. A few cautions in there, a couple mishaps. I think I have some apologizing to do. So a couple of guys, but ended up pulling out a good points finish. P2 in first stage, P5 or 6 in the second, and then P2 overall. So good race.
Yeah, very good race, very strong performance for you, and obviously a lot to build on here, knowing that there's only 3 races left in the season. If you can keep having good, solid runs like this, just building that momentum and everything else heading into Season 2 of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, definitely going to just kind of build up that confidence here for that 7 machine out there on the Speedway.
Yeah, the tracks that are coming up, I don't expect to do well at Richmond at all. I despise that track. Las Vegas, I expect another possibly top 5. And Phoenix, we'll see. And who knows what next year has in play? We'll see. Or next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Next season could be a whole different ball game for you, and potentially a run for the championship yourself. As obviously everyone here throughout these playoffs have been chasing Matthew Wood down. It looked like maybe you were going to be able to steal one away from him here tonight. He felt bad about not letting you win this race. Is that how you want to win one? Would you have hoped that he just pulled over and let you have it, or what was kind of going through your mind there late in this race? And would you have taken a gimme win here this evening?
It's 50-50 on that, because on one side of it, yeah, I would have loved to have had a win. I've had 1 or 2 podiums in this league, and that was early in the season. So to come out and have as dominant of a run as I had in this race, I know it didn't maybe seem that way, but I saw it at the end of all the runs where all of the guys up front had burnt their tires and stuff up. I had, gotten runs on them. I was on the long run, I was the fastest car on track. And I know that's a big statement, but that's,
Absolutely.
You see
Well,
it.
yeah, they look fast here, blazing out there on the speedway, man. And if it wasn't down to fuel and just pure speed there, if this was a couple laps shorter of a run, maybe you could have been on the throttle a little bit harder, a little bit sooner, maybe being able to, battle and duke it out there with Matthew a little bit more for the race win here this evening. But as you said, it's all about hindsight. Hindsight is 2020, and unfortunately for tonight, you have to settle in for second. But I'm sure without a doubt, we'll see you up here in victory lane either this season or next season here in the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. But man, what a run, what a drive. Who'd you like to thank here tonight for such a great drive out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, of course. Want to thank the 1776 guys. We're all in our voice chat as usual, and we ran real well. Couple of issues. Unfortunately, Zach, I think, got DNF'd. But got to thank those guys. They helped a lot. My Guardian Esports teammates, those guys, of course, much appreciated. I know none of them are watching right now, but they might watch the VOD. And Team Watson Racing Setups, of course, for helping out our team over there.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a whole team. It takes everyone to try to make something like this happen, and obviously finding the speed, the great runs, the great performances. As we saw Bogart being able to battle back, we saw Holloman up there as well. Obviously, a tough break there for Zach Perry, but for the rest of the 1776 Motorsports group, pretty solid run here this evening.
Yeah, and little side bit. Zach was having some internet issues before the race. We were about half an hour away from me running his car instead. So that would have been a nice points haul for him, but is what it is.
Absolutely, it is what it is. Caden, congrats on the second place run here this evening, brother. Enjoy the podium, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in victory lane very soon.
Hopefully. You have a good one.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Mr. Caden Gargiulo as Gargiulo finishes in position number 2 here this evening as we get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 39. It's Zach Clater. Clater comes home in position number 3. Hey, Zach, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
What's up?
Not much. Zach, man, what a run, what a drive here for you. It's obviously a pretty up and down day for yourself. We saw you obviously qualify on the pole. You were able to battle there early on towards the front. Then we see you get into the fence. You lose a ton of positions, and you fall back throughout the field. And then, obviously, you run into a couple more problems trying to navigate your way back up towards the front. There's a lot of chaos and mayhem unfolding around you. And then in these later runs, we see some good green flag laps being laid down, and slowly but surely you navigate your way up towards the top 10. That's kind of where you were hanging out before all of a sudden fuel mileage really became a play here in this race, and you're able to save enough, put yourself into a position to jump up here and have a solid third place drive here tonight, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it was a good day from the start. Finally able to get another pole. This is our first pole since the season opener at Atlanta, so it's finally good to get a tick in that column. But yeah, we started on pole. I think I led for half a lap, and then I nearly spun it. It was a half spin out of turn 4. Those fresh tires, it was just cold, wasn't up to speed, and I saved it, but we spun out a little bit, and I think that dropped me back to way back there. I think 18th or something. And we were just chilling, just kind of usually what I do every single race is just kind of, chill, get the hang of the track, which I know all these tracks, but driving with everybody else on the track, kind of get used to how everybody else is riding. So we were just taking our time. I really have no idea where I finished in stage 1, I'll be honest. But I know in stage 2, I finished, I think it was like 7th or 6th. So that was decent points there. And then it was an odd type of track because it was really all about track position. It felt like because that high side was so good. Like I don't think I willingly used the inside much at all the entire race. So it was kind of like just fighting for that high side and just slowly gaining spots. Just hoping really the only way to pass is a dive bomb going to turn 3, or just hoping someone on the high side messes up and you just get a easy pass there. But yeah, just I was just pretty much riding, and then I think I slowly worked my way up to the front row in one of those restarts. I think it was I don't know actually where, but it was a restart somewhere in there. I think it was with like lap 50, lap 60, somewhere around there. And I think me and Caden were trying to go for the same spot on track. It got me a little loose, and then I thought I had it saved. It went down to the apron, and that thing just hooked right. So I thought I was about to get T-boned and sent to Jupiter, but luckily everyone passed me before that happened. But there wasn't a caution for that specific incident. It felt like there was 2 wrecks in one lap, no cautions. So we are kind of riding there, and I was already thinking in my head, I'm kind of down and out here because if we do get a caution, I'm gonna be starting way in the back. I pretty much just burned a new set of tires right there from sliding the entire back stretch. But we eventually did get a caution. I'm not entirely sure what it was for, but the caution came out right about when the fuel window was. I think it was, I believe, caution came out with like 33 to go, and so obviously pitted there, got 4 tires, and then I actually pitted twice under that green flag just to make sure I was topped off on fuel, and that obviously did kind of work out in the end. But yeah, I don't know exactly where we started. It was probably, if I had to guess, probably 16th or so. Um, my car felt great all night. Like it wasn't anything like I could just blow by everybody, but it was kind of like I had full control of my car, and just like I said, riding that outside, kind of just picking them off lap by lap. I knew I had a slight fuel advantage just because I think there was only about 5 of us that came off and pitted the second time on that caution. So I had a little bit of fuel, uh, more fuel than anybody else, but I was just kind of riding there. I wasn't like hard saving or anything. I was just kind of honestly just trying to keep up with the lead pack, and I was doing pretty good. Then I actually got loose at one point, hit the wall. I got some wheel damage, but it didn't really affect me too much. In an odd way, it kind of helped me. Like I feel like that it somehow turned the wheel just enough to where like it helped me in the corners. I really feel like. So we got damage, but it didn't affect me. And I think I dropped back after that damage, probably 11th or so, somewhere around there. I really don't know who I was racing, but I knew I was good on fuel, so I was just going hard pretty much at that point. And like I said, the car still felt great to me. I did have wheel damage, but it felt perfectly fine. So just driving through the field kind of again, and then obviously I don't know who had the pit, who had enough fuel. I don't know all the circumstances, but I knew a few of the leaders had a pit, and I know Caden was probably like the last one out there that was barely surviving. But we ended up saving enough fuel. I think we probably had like 5/10 of fuel or so left, like point 0.5 fuel left when we came across the finish line. So I mean, it was a good recovery, but I wish it's like a game of what ifs. Like, what if I didn't spin on that one restart? I would have had that track position. Maybe we could have contended with Matthew a bit, because that one restart, I believe we started within 3 cars of each other. And I felt like I had the speed to contend tonight. It's just it was like a severe track position type race, and then obviously with the fuel coming into play, it's you just kind of have to take what you can get.
Absolutely, and you're able to take home a very solid third place run here this evening. A lot of what ifs out there. Obviously, if this race was maybe another lap longer, maybe I believe that Caden was sputtering down the front straightaway. I believe Matthew said he ran out just past the line. For yourself with that extra half a lap there, Haller was in the chat, said that he had point 0.4 laps on that final lap, so he was able to just run quarter throttle and it got him to the end. So if it was 1 lap longer or that caution flag came out 1 lap sooner, potentially it could have opened up that window for you to steal this win away from a couple of these drivers here this evening, obviously from Matthew Wood, but being able to beat Caden as well and parking this 39 right up and into victory lane. But you come up just a little bit short, a little bit shy here this evening, man, but a hell of a run, hell of a performance, and a great rebound from where the day kind of started for you and battling back through it and parking this 39 right up and onto the podium. Zach, who would you like to thank for a solid run and solid performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, once again, just want to thank my CHR teammates. They had a good run. Obviously, the 38 kept on disconnecting. Unfortunately, he couldn't race too many laps tonight. I think he maxed out at like 31 laps. But Brewer, he had a few like run-ins at the top 5. He was looking really good. Edgington, I didn't see him all race actually, but I think he did pretty good. I think he survived. But yeah, just think about the CHR teammates. It's slowly but surely making progress through this season. Unfortunately, a win hasn't came for any of us, but it does feel good to tick off these top 5s. But eventually, one day we'll get that win. But if not, at least hope it's a top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. A solid top 5, top 3 run here for the team here once again this evening, obviously with yourself. And I feel like it's been a bit of a stretch here. Has it not been like 3 or 4 races in a row now that we've seen this 39 ride up here on the podium?
Yeah, if it wasn't the podium, it was definitely a top 5. I think I have since the playoffs started. I think I have like 1 or 2 finishes outside of the top 5, and I think that was like Gateway, and then the Roval last week. But I mean, we're clicking off these top 5s. Obviously, Matthews in a whole nother like dimension with his wins. So there's definitely no catching him. But I mean, if I can be the best of the rest, I guess just clicking off these top 3s, it's really all we really can do at this point.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's not much left out there for you to gain, especially with Matthew being in the field, being able to seal all these wins. I don't even know what he's at now for the season, but I have a feeling it's got to be somewhere near, that 15 win marker or something crazy like that on the season. So he's been unstoppable, just dominant out there on the racetrack. It's been a lot of fun watching you and Evan Stewart and all these other drivers battling back there for the second position for a lot of these races.
Yes, sir. It's rough back there in the Hornets' nest, but you'll get those good races, and tonight was definitely a really good race. The racing all around was really really great. I enjoyed racing with everybody, especially Dustin Hardy. I think we were bumper to bumper for so many laps tonight. But props to him, props to Evan, props to everybody. It was a good race.
Yeah, a lot of great racing, a lot of great fun here this evening. Zach, congrats on the third place performance, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Saturday from Richmond Raceway.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Absolutely, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this evening. Our third place driver, Mr. Zach Glader, as Glader comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive here by each and every one of these competitors as they put on an absolutely amazing show for us here this evening. A little bit of beating and banging, a little bit of bumping out there on the racetrack, and a few big crazy wrecks as well to really shake things up out there on the Speedway. But man, that was a ton of fun, and these guys put on an absolutely amazing show for us. So huge shout out to all of our amazing drivers who were able to put together such a great run and great race for us here this evening, and we can't thank all of you guys enough. All the fans in the stands that came in and showed the love here throughout the evening, all the likes, the comments, any of the people that shared the stream, any of you that came in with the thumbs up here on the broadcast, and obviously coming in and hitting that subscribe button. Any of the new subscribers over on YouTube or any of the new followers over on Facebook and Twitch, man, we can't thank you guys enough or welcome you enough into the PeaceMaker family, and it's not too late to do that. If you guys are still watching this point and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us right now. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today over on the YouTube stream, or if you guys want, make sure you guys go check us out over on Facebook and Twitch as well, as we're live on all three channels every single time we go live, so that way you guys can view and watch and experience the best racing action here on PeaceMaker Gaming on your favorite streaming sites each and every single night of the week. And we'll be back in action again tomorrow night. We actually got a championship race tomorrow evening, so for our Metalheads Truck Series, man, championship night, it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be some crazy racing, and for those drivers digging it out for that championship, it's going to be a lot of fun to see who can claim it after I do believe 26 races in their season. So seeing that one come to a close is going to be a lot of fun to see who can get it done tomorrow night. And hopefully we see you guys right back up and in the grandstands cheering those drivers on, because man, you can't thank you guys enough for coming in, showing the love, and enjoying some great racing each and every single night of the week. And I can't thank y'all enough, but unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this one. Thank y'all for watching. Peace and love, and we'll see y'all back here in the next one tomorrow night. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curve, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in in the veins. Checkered flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay crazy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.